This is a $50 gem, one I would highly recommend not to everybody, but for those looking for technical performance and clean audio. This is the Kefine Klean Single Dynamic Driver IEM, and I deem this worthy of professional work and even marathon-long gaming or media consumption. This comes with customizable tuning filters, where one filter delivers warm audio, while the other delivers a brighter, more detailed tuning. It has a very balanced output where there aren't any frequencies that are overly boosted. It just sounds so clean, where the bass sound good. Mids are very well tuned to not sound recessed, and the trebles are very smooth. It's really surprising how a single dynamic driver can sound this balanced. Throughout this video, we will be discussing all important things you'll need to know before you buy the Kefine Klean. I will go over the sound signature of both connectivities, being 3.5mm jack and USB-C. I will also go over who this is for and who this is not for, so stay tuned till the end. Hi, I'm Daniel with the Biboyharanero team. We've been reviewing keyboards, mice, and audio gear since 2019, so consider subscribing and always be updated with our new videos and market updates. Back to the IEM, this has a diamond-like carbon dynamic driver, which is something I've never seen on any IEMs before, so this was a special unit. The driver size is at 10 mils, and the impedance of the IEM is rated at 32 ohms, so it's pretty easy to drive. I can plug this straight into my Samsung without the need of an external DAC. Inside the box, you get the IEM, replacement tuning filters, 3 pairs of narrow-bore silicone tips, cable, documentation, and its zipper case. The zipper case feels good and is definitely worth the price you're paying. I've seen worse zipper cases in higher-end IEMs, and this will do just fine with a little bit of crush resistance and fabric coat. Onto the cable, I think this adds a lot of value to the overall package that you're paying for. You get a braided, silver-coated, oxygen-free cable that looks really good. I have tested a lot of IEMs before, and I'm always very happy to see silver-coated cables. Now, onto the IEM themselves. It is made of metal, though I'm not sure if it's made of aluminum alloy. If I had to guess, yes it is, because the IEM is heavy and is very solid. You get 2 ventilations on the IEM, so it doesn't sound boxed in and promotes airflow within the set. The nozzles on the IEM aren't too forward, so using silicone tips that may be taller than others is perfectly just fine on this set. Speaking of the nozzles, looking closely at the gold-plated nozzles, you see textures in it, which I believe is meant for you to be able to twist it off easier. When taking out the nozzle, be mindful of the rubber gasket, as it is very small and is placed around the nozzle. I did the filter replacement on my bed and I almost lost mine, so don't be like me. Upon first try, I did not need to tip roll, as I found that the smallest size of the 3 silicone pairs fit my ears just fine. I got good seal without any odd feeling, and it also did not cause any issues regarding pain or itching in my ear. The IEM is also relatively small, so I see this fitting a lot of ears, even big ears, but they're gonna have to use the wider silicone tips. Speaking of ear tips, most of the time I apply wide bore tips on my sets to tame the bass. But for the Kefine Klean, I was tempted to apply whiteboard tips to open up the sound, as I was using the silver tuning filters. But that wasn't until I tried the black filters. And here's where things get interesting. Let's go over sound. So before we begin talking about sound, first I have to disclose that I am bass sensitive, or in layman's term, I hate bass. I'm also not treble sensitive, so even with open sound stages with a lot of air, I can still listen to Miley Cyrus's Party in the USA. With that said, I personally prefer the black tuning filters on the Kefine Klean. It opens up the soundstage and widens it up, adding a lot more air and detail to the mix. If you're treble sensitive, apply the silver tuning filters. I really love this setup, especially as a recommendation for beginners in the hobby. This is where beginners can really test out the sound profile that suits their ears, and then decide what kind of IEMs they want to be testing out. If you're a beginner in the hobby, I suggest you use the silver tuning filters first, and take a good feel if the sound is pleasurable to your ear or lacking in energy. If you find that it lacks energy, then it means you might want to try the black tuning filters. But be warned that this could potentially sound harsh in terms of highs for the regular ear. Again, I'm not sensitive to trebles, so it was just fine for me. Just right. And I can even crank up volumes with it. If you're a professional like someone who does voiceovers like I do and prefer an open soundstage, then the black tuning filters is perfect for you. Now, let's go over the difference between the 3.5mm jack and the USB-C cable. If you're a beginner in the IEM hobby, I highly suggest you get the 3.5mm cable. as the audio on this IEM would then depend on where you plug it in. Not only does this add a lot of versatility to your audio as you play around with multiple audio sources, but it also gives you a good idea regarding your tuning preference. I noticed that when using the USB-C cable, the sound on the Kefine Clean sounded more clinical, but just a tad bit more. The brightness is still there, and so is the smoothness of the mids. The bass felt like it got a little more controlled. This results in less rumbles and less punch, but not at the level that makes the set boring. Now, on the other hand, for professional audio, like editing, I highly recommend the USB-C cable if you do not have a dedicated audio interface. It's such a bummer that I don't know the chip used on the USB-C cable. Would have been great to know the DAC chip used here so I could look for external DACs with the same chip. It sounds more balanced and probably the chip that produced the most balanced sound my ears ever heard on an IEM. But don't get me wrong, as there is still energy produced by the USB-C cable, and it is in fact what I used in most of my tests. You get a chiller bass, but a cleaner, more neutral sound, but not flat. Now, I think I went over the sound profile of the Kefine Clean in a more general way a while back. But now let's dive in deeper. I think the sound of the Kefine Clean is not for heavy bass lovers. The stock tuning on this set, even with the silver filters on, have ample rumbles and bass with very good sub-bass performance and well-textured punches. Though, this could still be a hit and miss for heavy bass lovers and may find that they would want more bass on a set other than the Kefine Clean. Onto the mids, they do not sound recessed and they are just present, where male vocals sound very good. Electric guitar solos also sound pleasurable, and when mixed with vocals, be it a female or a male, they surprisingly do not drown each other out. Which brings me to my next point of sound separation, and I think this is where the Kefine Clean shines. It only has one dynamic driver, but sounds as if it has multiple drivers within, thanks to the mild coloration in audio. You get a very mild V-shaped tuning on this set, which allows for more balance across the frequencies versus other hard or aggressive V-shaped tunings. Onto the highs, they sound very well tuned, without any sibilance or spark that causes discomfort with me, though I've already mentioned that I love trebles. What may sound good to my ears may sound bothering to some, but it's good for me to be able to share my experience with you guys, so be sure to let me know if you have any questions. If you have any IEMs that you know or maybe are already using, ask me how it sounds against this, as I might have already tried that IEM you're using. Now on to gaming. As I expected, for first-person shooter games, I think this is also a very good set, as footsteps are easily picked out in a busy environment. Positional audio was also well projected on this set, and the best word I could think of with this regard is fluid. I didn't need any time to adjust to the tuning, and I also did not feel fatigued after hours of gaming. This is thanks to the controlled bass when paired with the USB-C cable and with the black tuning filters on, having a wide, open, airy soundstage. I found this really good for open world games. Minecraft, Subnautica, Assassin's Creed, and many other open world games that I play had a more natural environmental sound. The only drawback, as I already mentioned, is the mildly pulled back punch on the USB-C cable, which some gamers might find less appealing. I also found that when using bigger ear tips that creates more seal, you get better bass extension. Anyways, it's very easy to recommend for all genres and use cases, be it gaming or media consumption. So that's pretty much it. I'm sure I missed out on a detail or two, so let me know if you have any questions. I will leave links down in the description below on where to get your Kefine Clean. I'll see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.